Hello, I'm Nathan, and I'm 31 years old. I want to tell you about a story that changed my life. The day my mother passed away was one of the toughest days I ever faced. I lost the woman who raised me, who believed in me when no one else did, and who protected me with a fierce love that only a mother has. As I stood at her graveside, my wife Anna stood beside me, her hand gently holding mine. Her grip was soft but steady, and I thought she was my anchor. I truly believed she was hurting along with me. What I didn't realize was that Anna was already planning her departure. 3 weeks later, I was sitting at my mother's lawyer's office. He handed me a folder and went over the details of her estate. My mother had left behind a substantial amount of money investments, properties, and a large savings account. I was completely unaware she had quietly accumulated so much. She had always lived simply. Her home was modest, her car was over a decade old, and she saved coupons like IT was a hobby. As I scanned the figures, I felt completely overwhelmed. I was never the kind of person who chased money. I had a decent job and we lived comfortably. Anna, however, was different. She had a difficult upbringing and had told me that I gave her the first real sense of security she ever felt. I thought we had the same values, a love for simplicity and a loyalty to building a life together. But as soon as Anna discovered the inheritance, something in her shifted. She started spending money without thinking. Expensive bags and shoes appeared in our closet. She booked a weekend trip to Miami to clear our heads. She smiled a little too often, and her touch became less loving. At first, I assumed IT was grief. I had lost my mother, and maybe she felt helpless, unsure how to support me. 2 months after, the inheritance was transferred into a separate account that my mom had set up for me. Anna handed me divorce papers. IT was a Monday morning, and I had just poured her coffee as I did every day. She sat down, looked me in the eyes, and said, "We are not working anymore, Nathan." I blinked, confused. "What? I have filed for divorce. You will receive the paperwork shortly." She took a sip of coffee as if we were talking about the weather. "I've already spoken to a lawyer." I laughed, not because IT was funny, but because IT was unreal. "Anna, are you serious?" "I am serious, and I want my half. I have earned IT." And just like that, the truth fell between us like a bomb. She didn't say, "I love you." She didn't say, "I'm sorry." She said, "I want my half." She believed the money was hers too, that it had become community property, and because we were married, she was entitled to half of what my mother left me. But my mother had been many things. She was quiet, humble, and private. But most of all, she was smart. I recall a conversation we had a year before she died. We were drinking tea on her porch. She looked at me and said, "Anna is a smart girl, but don't confuse ambition with love." I had laughed. ITOFF. "You think she is using me?" I asked. "I think she is surviving. And that is not love, sweetheart. That is strategy." Back then, I thought my mom was being cynical. But she had seen something I had refused to. Without me knowing, my mother had set up a trust. The inheritance wasn't a single payment to my personal account. IT went into a trust, managed by an attorney with clear instructions. My wife couldn't touch a cent. The money wasn't marital property. IT was a gift, protected in advance, intentionally kept separate. Anna didn't know that yet. When she received the news, I was sitting in our living room. She came home from her lawyer's office with an expression I had never seen before, pure rage, mixed with disbelief. "You knew," she hissed. "Knew what?" I asked calmly. "You knew I wouldn't get anything." I stood up slowly, my heart pounding, but my voice steady. "I didn't know until IT was finalized, but now I do." "You are a liar," she snapped. "You let me believe I didn't let you believe anything," I interrupted. "You assumed, you saw dollar signs and thought you hit the lottery." Her eyes narrowed. "So now what? You're just going to leave me with nothing?" I stared at the woman I once loved. You're not the woman I married, and you're certainly not entitled to the money my mother worked her whole life for, not after what you did. She left that night slamming the door behind her. The silence that followed was the loudest sound I had ever heard. The house felt empty and cold, but for the first time in years, it felt honest. In the weeks that followed, I discovered even more. Anna had been cheating. Her texts revealed everything: dates, hotel bookings, and messages with her friends. She bragged about how she was finally going to live the life she deserved. One message hit me the hardest. Once the money is in my hands, I am done with him. She never loved me, not really. She loved what I could provide: stability, security, and finally wealth, but as painful. As I wasn't broken, I felt relieved. My mother's final gift wasn't just the money. It was clarity. She protected me even. After she was gone, she saw the flaws in Anna before I did. She gave me the freedom to escape, not just a bad marriage, but the falsehood of it. The divorce was finalized quickly. Anna left with the few things she came with, and I kept what my mother had left behind. Not just the wealth, but the dignity and strength she had taught me my entire life. Sometimes people leave you when you are at your lowest. Sometimes they show their real character when they think they have won. But if you are lucky, if you are really lucky, you have someone like my mother, someone who sees what you can't and protects you even when you think you don't need it. I still mourn her, but I also honor her. Every time I choose peace over bitterness and honesty over pretense, I honor her. Anna believed she had won, but my mother outsmarted her, and I got my life back.